Welcome audience to the 12th edition of the RISE Pico World Summit Day 4 that's dedicated to the theme of CSR. We are now getting into the session, a workshop by Priya Sharma Shaikh and Sunny Bhasin on the topic awareness on coaching. May I ask you to all chat your names so that we get familiar with you? And there is a little bit of introduction to Priya and Sunny. And then I will give you a short introduction about them and hand the floor over to them. We will keep going in that case, Priya and Sunny.
Yes, please.
So this workshop is brought to you by BU. To give you details about them, let me give you a short introduction. In recent years, coaching has emerged globally as a powerful development tool that empowers individuals, professionals, and teams to live their lives to their full potential. BU believes in that innate potential of the individual. BU stands for being you, and that's all you need to be. Coaching is a partnership between a coach and coachee in a thought-provoking creative process that inspires the coachee to maximize her personal and professional potential by facilitating growth through clear goals and action plan to achieve those goals. BU was born out of the desire and passion for professionally certified coaches who came together and joined hands to democratize coaching and make it accessible and affordable to all. BU reaches out to professionals from startups, MSMEs, first-time managers, field and frontline level executives, and of course leaders across the value chain to experience coaching and benefit from it. BU wants coaching to become integral to society and not just the domain of the C-suite. I have great pleasure in introducing today's guests. Welcome Priya Sharma Shaikh. Hi Priya.
Thank you so much, Akila. Happy to be
Priya,
here.
our pleasure. Priya joins us from Mumbai. She's an ICF certified life coach, mentor, and team assessor. Priya's coaching niche is working with industry leaders to build stronger connections and communicate and sell better. Her clients include C-suite leaders and high potentials in a wide array of roles across the world in industries such as BFSI, pharma, FMCG, manufacturing, IT, and telecom. I have pleasure in introducing the second speaker for the day, Sunny Bhasin, who joins us from Gurgaon. Hi, Sunny.
Hi, Akila. Thank you.
Sunny is an ICF coach, a chartered accountant, ex-CFO at Godrej, Nestle, Goodyear, and the companies of that order. Sunny's area of expertise includes leadership development, transitions, business transformation, belief enhancement, and wellness. He serves clients across the world, including C-level executives, startups, business owners, working professionals in industries like FMCG, manufacturing, BFSI, and consulting. He brings calmness and deep insights for the clients in our session. So welcome again to the workshop on awareness about coaching.
Engage you in a conversation meanwhile about the love of coaching.
Sure. Okay, so I think that's a good way to do this session is maybe have a understanding of what you understand from coaching, how come you're a coach, and maybe share something about your journey, Priya, and probably then I could take my turn.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would rather, first start about a little bit story, if you will. I started my 50th year of my birth, of my life, with this question. Ki I've done 50 years. I'm a Punjabi. It's very likely I live very long. And it's, possible that, that I may not have work after another 10 years because, people have this retirement age of 58, 60 at the max. So I said, so what do I want to do for the rest of my life? And I did a SWOT analysis. And in that SWOT analysis, I discovered some beautiful, I think awareness came up that I really enjoy interacting with people. Like this moment, talking to you, Sunny, is a special moment for me of the day, right? Because I'm just getting to speak to you and getting to share something with you and hear something from you. The other thing I really liked is I liked stories. And the stories of people's lives gives me a sort of window. It's like a live movie happening, and I'm a real movie buff. And then the third thing was empathy and compassion. That means how can I enable something in their lives by just seeing things from their lens, seeing their lives through my eyes, or I mean, seeing their story through their eyes. And when I did that, I started saying that what can I do with this? So what came about is maybe I should write, maybe I should make movies, maybe I should act. Kafi cheezein, came up. And I was like saying, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's not sort of, the bells are not ringing yet. And then I met a friend who said that, hey, why don't you consider coaching? So I said, no, what, Padhana? I don't want to teach. She says, no, this is not that teaching thing. This is coaching about life. So I said, what is that? I, sort of went closer to her. So she said, this is about helping people or enabling people to discover themselves first and then discover others. I said, how? So she said, well, these are conversations that are confidential with different types of people. And you meet a client and each client is different and each client could be anywhere in the world and you could be having this conversation. So it was fabulous to discover that something like this existed. And she said, and you can work from home. I said, oh my God. And all the bells started ringing in my head and said, yes, this is something I want to make an investment in. So I enrolled myself in the coaching journey. I first did a course with a gentleman called Peter Redding, who is amazing. He's literally a guru, and he is, he started something called Coach for Life with his partner, Marcia. And I learned first with him and then with another coach and then once again with Peter. And it's been fabulous, this journey of now 10 plus years. Just the learning first, then the discovery, then the business development. That's another challenge because suddenly you become a solopreneur from a corporate employee. So just generating work for yourself, making certain that the cash register keeps ringing. But apart from that, Sunny, I think the joy that I have been blessed with, literally, I call this a blessing because not everybody has this privilege of doing something that they love from the comfort of their home and also earn reasonable amount of money to make me feel happy and say that, wow, kya life jee rahi hu main. So I'm really, really blessed.
Wonderful. And I applaud you for, passing on what you have learned and then sharing it with others, like you said, over the last 10 years.
Yes, yes. And these people, I mean, like my clients are all over the world now. I feel so happy, and I have clients from on different levels of the leadership spectrum, people who are C-suite people, people who are, high potentials, top management, middle managers, and also now frontliners from the work we are trying to do at BU, where we are trying to reach the actually the people who are working, the feet on street chaps or people who are doing work. We're also working with a lot of NGOs and loving that. So yeah, the impact is fabulous. It feels so fulfilling. And I know it makes them feel good because that's what they say. So yeah, we're really happy.
Nice. So let me share something about my journey and how I ended up being a coach or how I look at it. For me, coaching is a word which I recently came about.
Huh.
Who are professional coaches. So, unlike you, I had no SWOT analysis. I was sitting very comfortably in corporate. I was working as a CFO.
Huh.
But all through my career, I was always, looking for something. some answer that will satisfy me. What is it that I need to do in my career which satisfies me? And I always thought, oh, this is not what I want. I always was inclined towards creative arts, doing theater at school, singing, music, and yet I was logical, I was studious, so I used to get good grades. So I ended up being a chartered accountant at 21, rank holder in the intermediary stages and all of that. So literally had a campus placement and then always used to question, why am I doing this? And how I can integrate all the personalities of me. Because I'm creative, I want to still do music, I want to do theater, but as a society, kind of, I was rigidly packed into what I was doing. And it's not as if I was not enjoying. I was enjoying thoroughly my work. In fact, at my office, when people came for budgets of advertising, I said, okay, show me the script. Because I did filmmaking also in between. I used to work together. And thankfully, I was in organizations who allowed the whole self to come at work. So it
Nice.
became a queue, but still I was, kind of looking for something which will give me that satisfaction. And for me, the biggest teacher has been experience
Mm.
and experience about my own awareness. Who am I? What is it that I want? What I like? And then express if I like or dislike something. And then take my whole being together wherever I go. So as I was transitioning from Bombay to Gurgaon, I happened to do this course again from Coach for Life. And when I did that, I heard myself in the session. And that's exactly what coaching is, that the coach allows you to listen to your own self. And if you listen to your own self with an agenda, it becomes experiential. So, whatever experience you want to gather outside by working, by doing things, you could well pack it in this space of a coaching session, gain that experience and awareness in a very quick, short span. And then, once you have that experience and awareness about yourself, you really move forward with your whole being to achieve whatever you want to. And when I did that in my coaching journey, I realized, oh, this is something awesome, and why I did not have this in 18 years of my career. And when I looked back, in fact, there was an assignment that look at possible places where a coach would have helped you. And I saw all those points where I was in doubts, in confusion, not feeling very good, wanting to achieve something but was stuck, and then especially those transition points in life where I felt the coach or listening to my own counsel would have really, really made me thrive, both in my being, in my action. And that's what my endeavor became, that if I'm thinking like this, why not I become a coach myself and bring this to others? And you may call it sincerity, luck, but it became a calling for me because as I was doing this, I also heard other people say, hey, it seems you are good. You are generally smiling, when you are doing all of this. You are a natural at it, things like that. And I deeply resonated with it. And when I looked at my own strengths and all, interacting with people, being of service. So when I do this now, I don't feel like I am working.
Mm.
I am, improving myself daily. And as I see my clients prosper, I feel so grateful for the work which I can do. And then, yes, I am always mindful of it that it is the client who's the main source of power. It is
Mhm.
their experience, their awareness, and
Mhm.
I just offer the space which allows them to really prosper and bring about
Mhm.
whatever they need to in life. So that has become my endeavor, Priya. And now almost 4 years I've been coaching and then now part of a BU. Very happy that when you reached out to me and said, because I always felt that, when I went back to my earlier companies and I said, hey, I'm a coach. Do you know about coaching? I started to realize the top level, maybe one down that level, are having coaches, and
Mm.
everybody down below was not having coaches. Like I was not having a coach. Even when I became a CFO, I was not having a coach. And in
Yeah.
our management committee, there were three or four who were having coaches, and then like now coaching is kind of becoming integral, but
Yeah.
still it is somewhere limited to that top level
Yeah.
and those few companies where it is, and kind of always linked to performance that get the result. But if you allow the being of the person, the being you, to emerge,
Urge.
it brings about the
Yeah.
results and it about being. And that's the endeavor of joining BU, that how we can democratize coaching, bring it to people early on in life. So now I have, many of these universities. I
Uh-huh.
am coaching in many top universities, so working with students early on. Like you said, with BU, we
Right.
do a lot of work with NGOs in the social sector,
Right.
corporate, senior C-suite people, middle-level professionals. And just when you do that, whatever is the ask becomes a reality for them because they experience life very quickly in these sessions, gain what they have to with their full being and march ahead. So I
Hmm.
love coaching, that is why. And which brings up to me, uh, yeah, Akila, thank you for recognizing and acknowledging our story. But it brings up to me a question, very important question, Priya, and you mentioned it somewhere when somebody approached you and talked about what coaching is. You were
Uh-huh.
really saying that I don't want to teach. And
Yeah,
I have really struggled with this because the moment I say I'm a coach and then people say which subject.
exactly. Coaching classes.
And yeah, so,
Yeah,
it's a battle to fight,
it
that,
is.
bringing the awareness to people really who are professional coaches. And because you have a lot of people who call themselves coaches, but
Yes.
they would essentially give you advice. And I'm
Mm.
very, wanting to understand from you, and in
Yeah,
also ways to understand when you distinguish between a mentor and a
yeah.
coach, and maybe first hear from you, and then I'll chip on with something which I understand more of it.
Right. So like you very rightly said, this whole thing of, coaching being a teacher as opposed to being somebody who creates awareness in you, right? Um, so the difference clearly is, in my opinion, that a teacher or a counselor, or even I would say somebody who is helping you with, giving you advice, is someone who is talking from a position of strength, talking from a position of slightly above you because they know more, they're telling you more. It's almost like, they're giving you something. Whereas in the case of coaching, or even a mentor would do that, mentor comes up with their knowledge because they have experience in, say, an industry or in a certain kind of work that they do or certain kind of profession. Whereas a coach is literally saying that, oh, tell me about what you do. I'm here to come to that level. I'm here to come to your level of awareness. That means, who are you? Oh, let me introduce myself to you, but who are you? And you being you is all we need, right? And so when I discover you in your full potential in the coaching session, and trust me, there are ways to do that in coaching, then I am just partnering you on this journey. I'm going with you as your navigator. You are always in the driver's seat. And that's the differential for me, in my eyes, about coaching, that you really become the owner of your life. You become the hero of your life. You become somebody who is saying, I got this. You're not doubting yourself anymore. You're not feeling limited in any way. You're feeling charged up. You're willing to take the action. You have the courage, the clarity, and the consistency to go achieve your dreams, right? So that's the differential. But as a mentor, what may tend to happen is that I'll give you the advice, you'll take it and you'll go. It's like almost like I'm literally telling you, "Bhai, here's the fish, go have it because you're hungry." Whereas in coaching, I'm saying, hey, here's the line. What do we want to do? What's the weather like? What's it like to fish? What kind of fish? Where could you fish? How could you fish? And things like that. And teaching person, basically enabling the client to become somebody who fishes and who's able to catch the fish, bring it out, cook it, and then eat it. That's the difference. So I think All the other professions are important, Sunny. This is not to say that those professions are not required. That means a teacher is required, a mentor is required, a counselor is required at whatever stages. But when you have a healthy mind and you have a mind that's willing to discover themselves and wanting to have power, then we as coaches enable that, because we stop mothering them and we help them become the adult, and we say, go out there and live your life.
These days there's a concept which is called um, a manager as a coach.
Uh-huh.
And in corporate parlance, it is coming up. In fact, a
Yeah.
lot of teachers are now being trained to be a coach.
Yes,
Because
that's
what happens is, like when a student or when a employee is going up to their manager and asking,
mm-hmm.
this is what I have done, what should I do?
Yeah.
Traditionally, there's like, oh, no, no, I want it this way.
Uh-huh.
This is how you do it. This is how you make, I did a recent exercise where there were senior professionals, all coaches in a
Right.
room, and we did
Right.
a session on art therapy, and it was a simple ask, just draw a house, a person, and other things. So house, and most of the people had that triangle, that uh, parallelogram, and then the same hut. Most
Yeah.
of, and the this is how we are conditioned, because at
Yes.
least when we were growing up, there was this way of drawing. Stay within the lines. This is how you do it. And generally, as teacher, and they are also conditioned. So no offense, but there is a part of conditioning, but there is a part of independence which needs to be sought, because
Mm,
human beings are innately curious,
mm,
adaptable, and they are resourceful, and each individual is unique. So unless and until you give them that space and ask them, what
yeah.
kind of hut do you visualize? What is your house in your mind?
Yeah.
And that's where the beauty comes about. So a lot of trainers, a lot of teachers, and a lot of managers are now getting trained specifically, because there is an art and science, and I'll talk about this later slightly,
Yeah.
but trained on the principles of coaching, how
Mm,
you enable that space and are allowing people, instead of telling them, instead of being directing, instead of suggesting to them, just ask them a question instead,
mm,
reflect on what they are saying already, and just be a mirror. Just keep silence. And
mm,
once you keep doing that, emphasizing it, something happens where the uniqueness of the person shines. And
mm.
that allows them to draw that house or hut and that color, which we see, a lot of children do it. They are
Yeah.
imaginative. If you don't tell them what has to be done, they can create masterpieces.
Yeah.
And that's really the masterpiece which you want to bring out in your life. And a coach enables that, because you are now saying, hey, this is what I want to do. This is my strengths. And here I am facing this struggle. And once you put it out all on the table, the coach, by non-suggesting, non-directing, not like a mentor, asks you, reflects on what you're saying, and that brings about the uniqueness of the person to tackle with that thing which is going on, and then move forward in their life to resolve it. Because
Mm,
usually what is on the surface is also not what is there. But that's
mm,
what I love about coaching and the difference. One of
mhm.
the other things which I really wanted to bring, because I also work as a therapist, is
Uh-huh.
the difference between a coach and a therapist. Because a lot
Right.
of times people struggle in their minds with issues of the past. And for
Yes.
me, coaching comes from a psychology
Yeah.
where the past is acknowledged, it is allowed to be felt, but it is not dwelt on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because the question is, okay, like if somebody says, I'm having this issue, my boss does not listen, this is happening in overtime, everything is not working well, the coach acknowledges that, because that's the first part. The person is really going through something which is challenging. You give that space for that emotions to surface. And eventually the question will come up is, okay, so what do you want to do about it? So coaching differs from therapy in this way that it will not dwell on the past traumas, trying to heal, help people around that, but also make the person move forward, empowering them with their resourcefulness to really look at, once all of this is happening, what is it that I can do today? What action or what change in my being I need to make so that
Mm-hmm.
I can tackle this at a more resourceful way and I can work towards achieving what I wanted from this coaching session, the agenda from my life, and then march on, maybe slowly first, and then with those leaps and steps, which
Yeah.
allows them to really prosper. So it's really forward looking in that way. And I want to, ask you, like, have you had this challenge in your sessions where really people are coming and talking all about the negative? How do you have seen it in your
Yeah.
sessions?
All right. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for all of that lovely description about how, you can make a client actually go through, that awareness of what to make the house like and not to make the typical hut and just leave them to be, right? Um, so typically in my sessions, when a client comes in and says that, oh, I am going through this because I've had this trauma and I've had this time and, some sort of thing, it emerges through the conversation. It's best advised to, ask them to see a therapist. And my ask is always this, that, whilst all of that's happened, where are we today? Right? That's a context that you've survived and you're here. What's happening today and what do you want to do with that today? And if a client is willing to move forward, rather than keep looking back and saying, that and being crying and being overly emotional, then there is this need to then make them aware of, okay, from here, where do we want to go? And what do we want to build? What's something that's becoming more clear for you? So coaching really is about saying, in the present moment, this is the context. This is what's important to me and how do I move from here? So for example, there is this particular client who's been through a lot on through their childhood, emotional trauma, a lot of it. And they haven't been to a therapist. And I was, holding space for them, saying that, hey, it's important for you to also, discover that there is possibility of going to a therapist and you should consider doing that. Having said that, if you're willing to say that that's something that's happened, and here's where I am today, and what do you want to build from here? Says, yes, I want to build a future. So yes, you can build a future, but you also commit to going and seeing a therapist so that you can solve all that, help you settle with all that. And say, yes, I'll do that. So simultaneously, this client actually started doing that. They started seeing a therapist and they started working with me as well simultaneously. And that worked wonders, Sunny, because then they started getting a sense of release and there was like this willingness to become like the phoenix almost, and it was amazing to see this person's journey after that because he was able to fly, bring out his full potential, not only at the workspace, in his relationships. He was able to sort of let go, drop that baggage, And at the end of the day, we are all wanting to, sort of live that life that we feel that a sense of fulfillment that yes, I've done what I need to do. I'm sort of doing the best I can, and that's all I need to do. It's like that, that Krishna Updesh in the Mahabharata, Karmanya Vadika Maharas, Karmanya Vadika. Did you know the whole thing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, कर्मण्ये वादिका रस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन
Kadachana, yeah. Makarma phal,
मा कर्म फले हेतुर्भुमाते संगोष्ठ कर्मणि.
yes. And this primarily says that we need to do what we can in our power and focus only on that and not worry about the fruit, not worry about what's to come, but focus on doing what we need to do about what we hope to achieve in the future and not worry about the reward. Yeah. So I have always had instances like this, and I've been able to sort of enable either therapy for them and work simultaneously with them, or actually stop the coaching and make them go to therapy when they're really, really hurting and grieving. Yeah.
No, thank you for sharing. And you talked about the spiritual part of it,
Yeah.
Krishna, or any of these, wherever it comes from religions. But essentially, it is about giving the empowerment to the individual in front of you.
Yes.
Had Krishna wanted to maybe win the war, he could have just done it, fight himself, but he was not. He was asking, what does Kauravas want? What does,
Yeah.
the Pandavas want? And in many, many other folklore, we also see all these texts, things where the people have to be empowered themselves. You
Yeah.
have to take on and fight. It's not up to the coach really to fight.
Correct.
I also wanted to highlight the difference between a trainer and a coach. And in
Hmm.
my journey, especially in corporate, I have been through immense trainings where,
Yeah.
especially in offsites, the sad part about offsites was like in one offsite we were in Goa while the trainer was presenting. My mind was actually at the beach, and
Ah,
then you have to bring it back. And then if it becomes PPT heavy, if there's a lot of content delivery, trying to learn very quickly what you need to, it just
huh,
also kind of dries you out. So I think what is really required is trying to distinguish what like we said, there's always an agenda. What is it that you are trying to solve with training? And in
huh.
my view, training really equips people with skills,
Right.
something which they need to learn, which they are not skilled at right now, and which is required for the work. So you kind of have a methodology which the trainer has, is a subject matter expert, and you get that for them. However, a coach is not a subject matter expert and he does not need to be. He's really an expert for listening, for showing his full presence, for understanding your cues of what you're showing through your emotions and asking you those relevant questions which allows you to move forward. So the coach is not a trainer. He will not skill you in something. He will not really, tell you about your subject. So if you like, if a lot of people come to me because
Uh-huh.
I'm a finance person and they might think that I'll give them financial advice.
Yes.
And uh, really, it's usually not about financial advice because these days you get all the financial advice on Google, YouTube, and all. It is really something underlying which is missing, which the
Mm.
coach brings to the surface. That what is stopping them from doing or taking action? And
Right.
that is something which is in their being, which could be a doubt, it could be a fear, it could be a struggle. And once they share that, they
Hmm.
find that answer and then move forward. So there's a real distinguishing between coaching and training. And I want to ask you, Priya, in the context of BU, you
Yes.
have set up BU as a coaching organization. If you could highlight some ways, what you bring from BU, like, when if somebody wants to do this in their organization, what is it that you offer? Will it be when you said sessions, so if you could just clarify what it all means, it would really enable to understand, okay, training is this is what a coaching is, and then what does BU bring for people?
Right. Thank you so much, Sunny. So BU was set up with the intention of democratizing coaching. The simple, first, straightforward answer. And what is democratizing coaching? Like you said at the start of the session, of this program, that coaching was primarily offered at your very few people in your managing committee, right? And what we want to do at BU is saying that we need you firstly to experience coaching if you're at any level. So it's not limited only to the C-suite or to the managing committees, like in your case, but to any level in the organization. And why is this important? So BU's philosophy is saying that, when we join the workforce, if we start our journey with a great footing, with awareness, with mindfulness, with a sense of clarity, automatically we are creating a base that's so strong, and we are building organizations from the beginning, from the start. We are enabling large organizations to build a second force that's going to be amazing. And that's why I feel that what coaching does is helping people become strong, leaders in the future. So with BU coaching, we have various offerings. We have coaching sessions, which are usually for about 45 minutes to an hour. We also have, along with that, some training programs that we do, which are improving your capability. We enable you with certain skill sets, which make you have a coaching approach. And these could be things like listening, being present, creating a safe space, and things like that. The objective is always that how can you be more coach like. The BU program does not make you a coach. As of now, we are not teaching coaching, but we are enabling you to understand how to have a coaching approach even while interacting with your office people or at home or in society. So it's primarily coaching. It is the coaching approach in your workspace, and along with that, we also do some assessments. That's all we are currently offering, and we are really happy that we are making some great inroads in some lovely organizations. We are very blessed with that.
Yeah, so some of the work which I have partnered with in BU is really coaching the front line and been to the heartland of India in Gaya in Bihar, trying to work with really the front line in agriculture sector, done some work with in the R&D people who are working in that healthcare sector. So it is diverse, and I don't come from that background. So you see, coaching
Exactly.
is agnostic of the subject.
Yes.
Done some visioning and goal exercises for people. So it starts from whoever is the audience. If there's a
Mm,
top level or senior stakeholders,
mm,
so creating that space in a day, trying to help them figure out their vision and mission, then
mm-hmm,
working in terms of capability building, in
mm-hmm.
terms of enabling how can you develop a coaching mindset. Because once you have the coaching mindset developed for your managers, they will empower the other people down the line to work with their own uniqueness, and the problem solves. Because a lot of time manager feels, oh, every time they come to me and I have to tell them, the next
Yeah.
time they come to me and I have to tell them, and the
Yeah.
third time they come to me and the manager is actually pointing out the pluses and minuses along with every time they come,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
start to feel that, oh, why are they not taking ownership? And
Right.
here's where the key comes, where you apply a coaching mindset. And when
Mm.
you do it for organizations at scale, we get people into a groups of 15 to 20 people because we do a lot of interactive sessions. It's
Yeah.
about really bringing out each individual really what they are thinking into that light, along with that the shared learning, and then they are able to have that coaching mindset, learn few of the principles, and then take it forward in their workspace. And we have some fabulous testimonials which have come along the way. Priya, would you like to share some of those? What benefits have really people seen, your clients, and then maybe
Yeah.
also I'll add some more.
I would love that. And I also want to, Sunny, have one sharing where we do the foundation exercise. I would ask you to do it for me. So that will become a template for people to also follow. So let's do that. Yeah. So I'll share first a few testimonials that our clients have talked about, and we feel very proud of them. So it was so our client says it was a wonderful experience and a lot of learning and acknowledging someone and being non-judgmental. This learning would help me understand my role and responsibilities and grow in the organization. I have learned self awareness, reduced assumptions, and I listen actively. This has helped me to know about me, what I am capable of, how to improve as a leader, and how to acknowledge overall great learning. So, like, these are just some things that had come up for the awareness program, Sunny, and another few testimonials. I'm going to quickly read, if you will, for the capability program. And why this is important is because I want the audience to understand that coaching is something that really impacts lives, right? So it says here, candid conversations, coaches go in depth on each topic, focusing on everyday equally, everybody equally. I'm really proud of the BU program. This is the capability program that I'd spoken about. Thank you for your lovely session in both days. You people have educated us in so many ways. I deeply appreciate BU and the program for providing an enriching and transformative experience. The insights and skills gained have empowered me to grow both personally and professionally.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And, you know, you said that You've been to Gaia. You know, I want the audience to know this, that here are people who are literally at the heartland of our country. They're doing things to make an impact. And we were able to go there and, touch their lives, see what they're doing, and then enable some tweaks in their lives that could make it even better for them. And that was so powerful, because after the training program, we were actually able to go in there and do coaching sessions for each of them. So I think, for each of the organizations we served, there were, set of people that they put aside to go through coaching. And these were not like non-performers, Sunny. These were performers. These were people who are doing well, but they're people who are actually, doing some great work, not only for their organization and for the places they are serving in, but also I think, at, the world at large. Because some of the coaches that I interacted with, they have such amazing ideas, such amazing plans for India, the things that they want to do. And it is fascinating to give them those wings, make them have the confidence to make that actually fly. So, yeah, it's a privilege to be a coach. It's a joy to be a coach. And it is something that I think everyone should have the experience of coaching. And it all
Priya,
begins with self awareness. Huh.
as you're saying this, and on behalf of the audience, I have this question. And as I was coming to the industry of coaches,
Yeah.
thankfully, somewhere I had people I knew who were coaches through a body called International Coaching Federation.
Yeah.
And I happened to enroll myself in a course which was certified. So I did put my hours of study into it. I gained that experience.
Yeah.
But now when I see the industry, I also see people calling themselves coaches,
Mm.
and they have not really studied coaching. And when you hear them out, they are actually motivational people. They'll
Mm.
be actually giving advice, bringing what their experience is.
Mm.
It's helpful because people relate to it at some level, but it's not really the coaching which probably I and you are talking about, and what
Yeah.
BU is trying to do that work. So
Yeah.
maybe if you could highlight in terms of when you say BU have these coaches, who are these coaches? Who do you call is eligible to be a coach, and what are your when you provide somebody with a coach, who are these people who come on board? If you could
Mm.
just share something around that, it would be also helpful.
Sure. So, firstly, coaching is a profession that is a very serious profession. It's not something that you can just say I'm a coach and become a coach. I really feel that there is a lot of study that happens there. It begins, like I said, with self-awareness. And there are certified programs credentialed by the International Coaching Federation and other bodies like there's EMCC, etc. There's lots of bodies who do the certification, but it's important to do the work. And the work involves, Sunny, going through training, which is usually for about 60 hours at the minimum. And this is required, followed up with mentoring by a professional coach who's already a practicing coach. There's also some, hours that you have to put in that need to be where you actually do the peer coaching and you try and understand what the experience of actual coaching is all about. And it's only when you complete 100 hours of coaching that you become a associate certified coach by the International Coaching Federation. So what we have and what we have at BU is we've got coaches who are certified and who've done a minimum of 200 hours of coaching, and that's what we bring to the table in any coaching space. Yeah.
No, it is very good. It just becomes so important to know that we hold each individual, and that's really what
Yeah.
the coaching principle is. When you enter the session, the
Yeah.
client or the person in front of you has that answer. They have the best solution for themselves,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what level you are.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, it is at par. And the beauty of it is, like I said, I have coached people at the front line. I have coached senior stakeholders, the C-suite people, and you realize how oneness shines, the
Yeah.
humanness shines in all the sessions,
Yeah.
because all these people go through the similar kind of emotions,
Yeah.
similar kind of doubts and fears. The impact and the value of their decisions is different because
Yeah.
they are at different positions. but they go through the same struggle, and the coach is actually allowing that to surface, and like we all talked about earlier, bring them to action via knowing themselves and that awareness. So it really becomes agnostic of even levels, but
Yeah.
the value is generated for a lot of time, because life and leadership go hand in hand. So the
Yeah.
skills or the awareness which comes via coaching sessions helps them in their personal life, the professional life. Some of the testimonials were really talking about that. So it really becomes, a life leadership kind of role. So some people call themselves life coaches, some people call themselves leadership or executive coaches, but really who are certified becomes your barometer to really look for a coach. Hey, are you certified? Because then you know that they have put in that work. And at BU, like Priya, thanks for sharing. We kept the bar high. We said
Yeah.
200 hours.
Yeah.
We said that let's have people who are really committed to coaching, and the quality of people which goes to the management. So
Yeah.
we do coaching for senior stakeholders and middle management. So we have programs for middle management which suits them, group or individual, the visioning broad exercises, and then one-on-one coaching at each level. So we do a minimum of 6 sessions as a journey, and that really brings about the achievement. Priya, I wanted to talk about this journey kind of a concept.
Yeah.
If you want to say something else as well, but because I know there are multiple sessions, you talked
Yes.
about the sessions, but why do you think there's a need? Why not one thing like a training, one ad hoc day it meets? So if you could elaborate more on that aspect of why coaching goes on for more sessions or few months.
Right. So it's like, Sunny, like our habits or our behaviors are things we've acquired over time. And sometimes we don't even know they're there. They're like blind spots. And there are people who point things out to us and we're sort of in denial. We say, no, that's not me. And you sort of get defensive or offensive about it. So, what coaching does is make you aware of who you are being and who you really want to actually be, but you're being somebody else. And this is what's visible. So, the coach shows you the mirror and makes you see that, hey, this is what's visible to me and perhaps to the rest of the world. And hence the outcome is this. So, for that awareness first to sit in the mind of someone, yes, this is who I am, and this is who I'm showing out to the world. And then to be able to make that shift because it is a journey of change. And as we all know, people want to resist change. They want to pull back to their comfort zone because that is their natural way of response, right? So they go into that way of being how they usually are. And how can we then make that shift happen? Enable awareness again and again and make them go towards, a final goal where they want to be. So it is a journey of change and it takes time. And hence, a minimum of 6 to 8 sessions is what we advise. And coaching sessions are usually for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what the topic of the day is. I want to share one more thing here, Sunny, which is really important. That as a coach, it's not important that I understand your work. You're a chartered accountant, but I can coach you as well. I'm not a chartered, I'm terrible at math, right? But I, as a coach, like I said to you earlier, my role is to come to understand you, come to your level of being, right? And therefore, the asking of the questions, I never need to know. All I need to know is that you show up in the session and I show up in the session, and that's all that matters. And then from there begins the journey. And it is a journey. It can't just be a quick, one stop shop kind of thing where we come quickly. And let me also share this that sometimes that one coaching session is also a great impact session. I've had situations where I've had an on demand session where I've had only one coaching session, and it's been like suddenly घंटी बज गई, suddenly light bulb जल गया, उनकी life में. And people suddenly become aware and they say, whoa, that's an aha moment for me. I have never thought of it that way. I say, okay, fine, what do you want to do about it? Right? And so that also is impactful. But mostly the coaching journey does take time, and it's usually about 6 to 8 months.
Thanks for sharing. So, like, my experience has been on this is there is a lot of outside noise which I hear on a daily basis. So I
Hmm.
will hear the society, I will look at the TV, I will have my parents telling me something, my wife, my daughter, my friends, well-wishers, and all of them have their opinion. They want this, they look that I should behave in this way, this is what I need to do. And there is also my voice. And what I
Hmm.
look at coaching doing is amplify my voice, give it a certain volume
Wow,
so
wow,
that
wow.
I can hear myself. In all of this surround sound, where is Sunny or what is it that I want to do? I bring that up in a coaching session. And because life is continuous, the need for the initial 6 to 8 sessions for a person who has not been exposed to coaching allows them to know that, hey, this is your voice, this is how you amplify. And when you do it over the 3 months period, you will get a testimony that it works.
Mm-hmm.
There is success at work based on this, there is success to get money, there is success to get happiness and fulfillment. And that is the testimony which they carry as an experience within them in that 3 months. And then I feel that ad hoc and all what you said really works because you are just bringing your voice always up in that cacophony of sounds around you. And really, that brings about really a robust way of listening to oneself.
In fact, Sunny, my coaching journey also started that way. There was this whole thing when I turned 50. I told you I did this whole SWOT analysis, right? And I wanted to be a coach. So my voice was that I want to try this. And everybody around me, what's wrong with you? This is not the time for you to consider a new profession. This is the time to start planning retirement, focus on the kids, focus on this, that, and the other. Lose weight. Why are you bothering about all this now? New things, spending so much money. There's no need. Blah, 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 blah went on. But because the way coaching appeared to me, the way it showed up for me, it literally enhanced my voice to that level of saying that I'm going to do this. And from there to today, when I talk about my journey now to my parents and to my sisters, and I'll say, whoa, not bad, great, very good, very good. There's a sense of accomplishment. This is my, decision. I chose this and I'm, living this and I'm loving it. So it's a fabulous, tool. And I am so keen that more people across the board experience coaching. And hence this endeavor of BU coaching that, all you need to be is you. And our job as BU coaching is to bring that awareness to you and make you believe in you.
Like when you were sharing, I was just feeling that
Yeah.
um that joy which you were experiencing, it just kind of lights you up. And I can sense it when you talk about that. Hey, I have a similar story, but I want to dive on the word, the emotions, the feeling. I
Uh-huh.
felt it. I'm sure the audience would feel it. You don't have to fake it. So there is a distinguishing factor in what we are thinking and what we are feeling. And I
Mm.
know a wonderful questions which coaches ask is not allowing you just to stay in the head, but also bring that heart, the feeling
Yeah.
part into sessions. Because
Yes.
oftentimes people put things under the carpet. There's like, yeah, not allowed to feel at work, just do your work, go back,
Yeah.
deliver targets. Even if you achieve targets, quickly move on, but not stay there, how you're feeling, acknowledge. So a lot of feeling comes in, and I wanted to ask you about this doing and the being part, but more the thinking and the feeling, kind of very relatable in terms of concepts. But
Yeah.
how does the coach, as your journey brings in, how do you enable, are people really sharing their feelings? What really happens? Are they open? What allows them to share? Anything on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, lovely. So yeah, when a coach, sort of opens space for the client, when I say this whole thing of space, firstly, let me explain that because a lot of clients are trying to understand what is a space. The space is this space. Right now, Sunny, this is a space we have created, you and I, right? Where you and I are having this conversation for the past almost like 1.5 hours now, where we are talking about coaching, and I'm loving it, by the way. This space of that means I'm focusing, my presence, my attention is with you, right? I'm looking at nothing else. Um, this space is so beautiful because it enables me to be me. It enables you to be you. There's no external voices, there's no external forces coming and saying things. I'm enabling you as my, if I'm your coach, I'm enabling you to be you. And in doing so, when you are being you, you're literally rooted in your values. Really, you're just you're sort of ready to be setting your foundation. And it's only when you are being yourself that you can do the right job. And that's when you can have the right things or the dreams that you have in your life. So it's like literally about be, do, have. And it's only if you follow this, unlike the usual thing, like say in your case, you were doing a do, be, have maybe earlier in your corporate life. You were doing stuff in order to be something, in order to have things. But here, now we are saying change that and make it be. So being is important. And when you say this word being, that means who are you authentic, the most authentic at? How can you be the most authentic person? So this brings me to the self-awareness exercise. And I really wish that we could do that now. But being me and what makes me be me? And what are those elements that make me be me? And I think that
Sure.
discovery is important at this
Sure.
stage.
So what I'll do is I'll ask Ankush to share the presentation as well. He's been
Yeah.
very kind to wait
Be
all this while. Uh, you know, Ankush, if you are there, if you could just put
uh,
on the slides.
So I think even if he doesn't, I think we can continue. Okay, he has. Okay,
Oh,
great.
it's there. And what I will do is, Priya, let me go through it, what is there in the presentation, and I'll be there at those slides when we need to. And
Sure.
I'll also invite the audience to do this, including all the Idobro people to do this exercise along with Priya. But just going to the BU coaching program, we talked about, a little bit about coaching,
Yeah.
um, where we are from. But this is really our intention to maintain confidentiality. Whatever is being discussed, we have it here. A coach really adopts a stance for innocence also, have a beginner's mind, release evaluating or comparing what you are learning, practicing a positive focus. In sessions, a coach would really focus on what is working well, because
Mm-hmm.
what you focus on, it expands, and then connect on a heart level. It is just not listening to the words, but really opening up yourself in that space, like Priya was saying, and allow that all encompassing understanding through body cues and all to come to the coach. Then claim the experience as my own. So I often tell people that, stop hiding behind we. Sometimes people will talk about that as a team, we are really feeling this is a stretch target,
Mm.
uh, or this is an easy target, either or. And I'll say we, who's we? And then it starts to become I. And remember, when we have those appraisal cycles, it really, the boss asks what you have done. I
Yeah.
understand what the team has done, but what you have done.
Yeah.
So there is
Or
a
also
merit
about,
in we.
or or also about Sunny, when people say things like, say, for example, and one is to do these kind of things once you're married. Like, who is this one? I keep saying, who is this one?
Absolute.
Stop assuming that this is a assumption. Like, talk about who you are and what is your experience. Yeah. Go ahead.
Beautiful. And I love how you talked about that word assumption. So the
Mm.
coach is allowing you to distinguish between an assumption which you're carrying in your head, because it's always
Mm.
hear things like this is how it should be. But it really challenges you to say, what is your experience? So
Yes.
if your experience is not matching with the assumption in your head,
Mm.
disregard the assumption and go with your experience. And that's what this means.
Yeah.
Listen deeply with honor. So as a coach, I focus completely on you so that it helps, and then avoid that cross talk, side talk, interruptions.
And here I
And
want to
then
say one
use,
thing, Sunny, here on the listen deeply, what tends to happen, I'm sorry to interrupt you because that's not what a coach would do, but I wanted to get the point before you jump to the next one. The truth is this, that very rarely do people really listen. And it is so important to be heard. People want to be heard. Their voice has sort of not got enough flight. And sometimes it's so important to make them know that they are heard and make them know that they are understood. And when they are understood and they are heard, that itself is such a relief, and it's such a, like, it's like almost like a little bit of weight off their shoulders. So this part is really important. Deeply listen, deeply with honor,
yeah.
without any
And
judgment. Yeah,
I must say that, there is training involved in it. There
of
is
course.
practice, there is training, and that's what coaches undergo. And the essential point is that if you're interrupting for a purpose, like Priya just did,
Yeah,
state that purpose, because there is need for interruption also. There is, something which you need to, maybe a time is about to finish. So you really call it out and
yeah,
give that thing. But when you are listening, you really show your full presence in listening. The
absolutely.
next is giving authentic and positive acknowledgement and support. And this is something which, I wanted to stress. I had made a note of it and I was going to bring it up. Such a dearth of need in corporate, in organizations to really have authentic feedback,
Yeah,
acknowledgement. And it also just means that you go to the level of the person and it's
yeah,
not really praising them. Acknowledgement is very different from praising, but you're really noticing them completely, what they are undergoing, and just being there in terms of acknowledging what they have gone through. And then avoiding obviously any unsolicited advice. They didn't ask for it, but you are advising any criticism, counseling, consulting. So if you even get those thoughts, just hold it for some time.
yeah,
Let it be that positive psychology of really bringing that positive, authentic and authentic. So it has to be really important. It's not just made up, faking it, just trying to say good words. But really, when you see something, and look for the smaller things as well. It does not have to be now the project is over, now let me find it out. But
mm,
even every day, when you notice what is really working well in one of my team members, one of my seniors, one of my subordinates, one of my relatives, bring that out and look at the positive and really voice it out. Anything you want to add on this particular one, Priya?
I do, because you know individuals really are individual islands, I feel. And it's only when you acknowledge, you listen, you understand without judgment, and you're there for them, that present moment, like coach like approach. That's what creates the connection. And people want connection. It's their basic need after, food, water, shelter. They want to connect as social beings. And connection is so valid and so important, because when you are having that acknowledgement and that support, you feel suddenly seen, feel suddenly heard. And that's so important. In fact, so many of my clients go through this, that I'm constantly getting feedback from my team that I'm not good, but I'm like doing so much for them, I'm trying to do things for them. I said, but are you acknowledging them? Yeah, I acknowledge them at the end of the year, the that they've done a good job. I said, but that's 12 months. We're talking about 12 months away. Every single day, can you see something that they're doing? But what can I see? So basically, helping them become aware of how they are, not really paying attention to every little thing that's happening. And as a leader, that is your responsibility, to make people aware of, yeah, I can see that you're putting in the work, putting in this, and you made this happen and you made that happen. So how can you make that happen for them? Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Priya. Um, Moving on, three more of the standards of presence. The intention is to fully receive acknowledgement and support.
Yeah.
And this is something which I struggle still with. When somebody says something back to you, and really I'm like, there's no need.
Yeah. नहीं
It's
यार,
my duty.
नो,
It's my
इंडिया में,
duty.
हाँ, इट्स माय
You,
ड्यूटी, इंडिया में होता है, नहीं ठीक है यार, करना ही पड़ता है, कोई बात नहीं, एंड ऑल दैट, ये कुछ नहीं नहीं ऐसे ही, जस्ट एक्सेप्ट द कॉम्प्लीमेंट, एक्सेप्ट द
yeah.
acknowledgement, yeah.
And there are so many things which, as human beings, it's almost like you're closing yourself from receiving the gift which somebody is giving to you. And
Yeah,
acknowledgement is truly a gift which somebody is giving to you. So receive it. And you
yeah.
could just simply do it with a smile, a thank you, refrain from crosstalk and any comments. And when you receive it like that, you'll start seeing that, you'll feel a lot better.
Oh.
The
Nice.
next is practicing self-care and self-responsibility and
Nice.
allow others to do the same. Again, very important. Coaching is really saying this out loud. You are the one who's important, not the coach, not the organization. They have their individual importances, right, in their own world. But as a person, as a human individual, you need to take responsibility for your own self, practice that self care, ask for your understanding, your learning, what you need. And
Mm,
once you do that, you will create a safe space for yourself. And as you do it, even when you go to a aeroplane, you will be asked first put on your oxygen mask. Even if
yeah.
you have a kid along, then put it on the other person. Because if you are not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of your loved ones or
Yeah.
your colleagues or that work? So it is very important to build that self care and then finally be fully present. And then we have talked about this how you can ensure that you are present in both, in all three, the body, mind, and spirit, and really there when you are having this.
In fact, this is the cornerstone of coaching, being fully present. If you can actually do that in any relationship, Sunny, this is the best thing to happen. When you're talking to your partner or to your child or to your manager or somebody who's reporting into you, that presence is about paying full attention, trying to understand what's being said here, what's being felt here, what's the emotion, seeing everything is about being present, and it's so beautifully done in coaching. And that's why coaching is so beautiful. It's just makes people be seen, be heard, be felt, and be made to see that yes, somebody is really getting who I am and how I'm feeling about this whole thing. And that's where the shift happens, and they're willing to do the work because they suddenly feel cared for, and they suddenly feel sort of, you know, in a safe space. And in fact, so many of my coaching sessions, Sunny, have had some unbelievable sharings, about what they have never ever shared with anybody, and something that that they have been sort of holding within themselves. So it's not therapeutic as such, but it's something that becomes, oh, I've never discussed this with anybody, and thank you for letting me open this up and making that. So just being able to create that space that is so safe for them that they feel like sharing and that they want to open up and they want to then build from there. Talk about their dreams, their limiting beliefs, sometimes their challenges, sometimes the daily stuff that's happening, sometimes a visionary project that they want to work on, some 15 years from now, and they want to begin work on it on the side. It's fascinating. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's get on to the exercise now. So the next slide. So I'll invite Priya, you, other attendees to take a paper and a pen and then play along with these fun questions which come on screen. There is a reason, and I'll get on to it in a while.
Right.
But here is the first question. Bring to your mind your all-time favorite animal or pet,
My all
and
time.
then
Hmm.
yeah, bring to your mind your all-time favorite animal or pet. Now, this could be in the wild, It could be some pet which you wish you had, some domestic animal, any one animal, and
Mm.
write five life-affirming qualities which you really admire in this pet or animal. And I'll give
Okay.
you an example. So if I say that I like, let's take the dog,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to really take that example because dogs is something which I really like. I find them cute is kind of one quality. I find them loyal. That's what is the other. Caring. So, things like that. So, write five qualities which you really admire in an animal. You could use any animal, it could be a lion, horse, giraffe, whatever. One animal which you really admire, and write five qualities which you really admire in this pet or animal. And Priya, I'll give you a few seconds, a minute about to do this so that
Mm-hmm.
others also are doing it. What I'll
Yeah.
invite people is if you can write down in the chat box what is it, your name of the animal and those things, and I'll, read it out before getting Priya's answers. So just share which animal you like, any five qualities which you are liking about that pet or animal.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Um, if you can have some responses in the chat, maybe the animal, that's the easy one, and then the values will be there. Anybody would like to share in the audience?
Akila has shared elephant.
Oh wow, Ankush is sharing Piku, our Shih Tzu. So
Oh,
cute.
Piku. It's a dog. Shih Tzu. Love.
Yeah. So maybe write, Akela, some qualities about the elephant, which you really admire, and Ankush, you too, maybe others. And Priya, would you like to share what you have?
Yes. So I have chosen the horse as my favorite animal. The quality, the life affirming qualities that of the horse that I really admire are its loyalty, its strength, its speed, its loving nature, its caring nature, and I love its beauty.
So loyalty, speed, caring, beauty. One more which you said was
Strength.
strength. Okay.
Yeah.
Akila, Ankush, others, maybe your qualities about the Shih Tzu, elephant, other animals. Okay, so Ankush is saying, I'll take this example.
And
Unconditional love, very understanding, always ready to play. Oh, wow, beautiful, playing. Despite the love, set the boundaries. Very interesting. And I'll talk about what it really means. But thank you, Ankush, for sharing this. And maybe others can keep chatting and writing if they are not complete. I'll move on. Okay, so I have Akila, so I'll share hers. The elephant, the values are powerful, strength, large size, mother-like, and intelligent. Beautiful.
yeah.
And look, like, even in an animal, you could have like the mother-like is so interesting as a quality. And I love this about this exercise. It's bringing your relatability to it. And like
Yes.
I'll decipher it, what it means. But let me go to the next fun question. There are few of these. The next question is, Priya and others in the audience, I want you to bring to your mind your all-time favorite hero, heroine, any distinguished personality. It could be somebody in the movie, somebody in politics, maybe a book personality. It could be even somebody in your personal life, like a relative who you really look up to. A person you really look up to, you feel inspired by. And then how would this person, so if suppose imagine this person is standing in a room full of people and he's speaking to an audience and he speaks out this sentence, my deepest guiding force has always said for me to be. how would they complete it? And there's an example here of Oprah Winfrey. Choose another example. This is just an example. So if Oprah Winfrey was somebody I am inspired by, she would say, my deepest guiding force has always said for me to be in flow. So in one or two words, you need to complete this sentence. So fill in the blanks, the underlined statement in your own space, and then put it in the chat box. And I'll give another example. If I think my favorite hero, let's take is Shah Rukh Khan. As per me, he would say to an audience full of people, my deepest guiding force has always said for me to be humble. So that's my one word for Shah Rukh Khan. So think about your favorite hero, heroine, distinguished personality, anybody in your real life, one person. Write the name of the person down on your paper, on the chat box for sharing it with us, and then one or two words, how would they complete this sentence? So another 15 seconds, and then I'll share whatever comes up. So Akila talks about Deepak Chopra and life of abundance. Beautiful. And super disciplined, nurture a strong work ethic. And Ankush, would you like to share the name of the person you feel inspired by? And in the meantime, I'll go to Priya. Priya, if you would
Yeah.
like to share the name of the person.
So the person who I believe and who is my guiding force is Krishna, Lord Krishna. And my deepest guiding force, Krishna has always said for me to be authentic and have an abundance mindset.
Okay. So take these things with you on paper and pen, and we'll make use of it in just a while. And this is Virat Kohli. Okay. Not a fan though, but admire his work ethic and discipline. Great. So let's get on to the next question, the third
Okay.
one. Now think about one thing in nature which you would want to be. So if you were not a human being, you could be any one thing in nature. You could be the river, tree, mountain, cloud, sea, uh, flower, whatever, star. One thing in nature apart from being a human being, what would you choose to be? So write that thing down and then finish this sentence in maximum 10 words. So the example is taken of a tree on this slide. So if I were the tree, I can say the tree's biggest contribution is to provide nourishment and shade. So that's my way of looking at it. I'll take another example. If I say, let's take I am the sun. So I will say as the sun's biggest contribution is to be the first riser and wake everybody up. That's my way of looking at the sun. So look at the thing which you would choose to be in nature, and then again in 10 words, finish this sentence. The biggest contribution is to, and I'll again give you 30 seconds for it, or maybe more, 40, 45.
Yeah.
So hold on, Priya, I'll just invite our audience to also put it in the chat and then come to you. Okay, so we have Akila talking about trees and sustenance of life is what she says. And then Ankush is saying a lake symbolizes the calmness and Therav, the
Very
stillness.
nice.
Beautiful.
Wow. Yeah.
What about you, Priya?
I'm ready to share. Mine is the sun, and its biggest contribution is to provide unconditional energy and light to all.
Beautiful. And thanks for sharing. I wanted to share that, the tree, but Akila has a different take on what it provides. The sun, both me and Priya shared as an example, but a different take. So you kind of, and you could do this with your team,
Yeah.
your family. It's a very simple exercise, but just shows that uniqueness which all of us bring. One last question. This is recall the last 4 to 5 times where someone has come up to you and said, "Hey, I wish I could do this as easily, as effortlessly, as joyously you did." Somebody has worked on a project, like you have worked on a project, and people come and say, "Hey Priya, what a beautiful thing you are doing here. I just love how easily you are doing it. बहुत अच्छा काम किया, you were so joyful, peaceful when you are doing it." What do you think they are commenting on? Write 5 things people see and admire in you for the ease, effortlessness, and joy with which you do them. I'll give you an example. Like, I took a group of people to a retreat in near Ranikhet, and some of the people said to me that I was very calm, in amidst all that arrangement, that rushing, and also the calmness was one of something which I had. And then I was also playing the harmonium and chanting. So they just said that I have a very deep heart-like singing. So in your
Mm.
own words, bring about those things in projects, in workspace. Like when I work on my assignments, a lot of time, even if I'm doing something which is reading a contract, making it, I get this comment, "I have an eye for detail."
Hmm.
So those are things which you can point out. Any 4 or 5 qualities which people have seen in you, admired in you, for the ease, effortlessness, and joy. And when you're doing it, you really don't feel like, "Oh, I'm putting so much effort." It just comes more natural to you. You can type in the chat box once you're done. And Priya, maybe in 15 seconds, I can hear you.
Sure. In fact, what's powerful is like the way you said, your interpretation of why the sun, what the sun contributes, is so different from what mine is, and it would be different from what Akila would say or would say Ankush would say, right? So each of us has
Absolutely.
our own visualization and our own interpretations, and hence coaching is so powerful, right? Because they have their own answers really, and the coach is actually sitting there listening and leaning in to see the wonder that they bring out.
Absolutely. And thanks for pointing. What it reminded me is of a physics concept.
Huh.
We study it. So even like, let's take the example of the sun. So when
Huh.
I am looking at the sun, and I see that color, or let's take a very simple one, even of a tree. Akila has a tree. So when I look at a tree and the color of that leaf, if it
Mm.
is green, the green which I see, the green which Akila sees, Priya sees, Ankush sees, is all going to be a different green,
Yeah.
because we are at a different height, we have a different light frame. The physics
Yes.
scientifically says that the green, because of the light and the cones, whatever structure, everything is unique. And
Mm-hmm.
that is why, like you said, coaching brings about that uniqueness in each session and allows people to really live who they are rather than somebody else.
Right.
So we have Ankush sharing ability to follow my heart and do things when others find it risky, ability to speak my mind and speak to the authority. Very interesting, Ankush. Very, very great strengths. And I love how you have articulated this. Thanks for sharing. Priya, would you like to share next?
Sure. So people usually praise me or, acknowledge me for my speaking skills. They say I articulate really well. They like my creative energy. They feel that when I create things, I'm very creative with my ideas, organizing skills, my singing skills, and also my writing skills. So yeah, these are the 5 things I usually get praised for.
Thank you for sharing. And Akila is also pointing out making connections, friendships, and positive outlook for life. And
Nice.
try and get to that 5 number, work ethic and commitment. So I'll invite you all to go back in time, look at things, and make a note. I'll also share eternal optimist. So thank
Nice.
you for being that as well, Akila. I'm going to share and process how and why all these questions, though they are fun questions, but there's a
Yeah.
meaning behind. And this is the awareness which you kind of see and see how you resonate or relate to it.
Hmm.
Um, there is a purpose statement which comes out of the question 2 and 3. So this
Hmm.
is basically you can write I am, then the one word which came from the hero exercise, and then in order to, and then the words which came from the nature exercise. So what I'll do is I'll take example of I'll take Ankush example. So Ankush had Virat Kohli, and the word which he used was um, super disciplined and nurture a strong work ethic. So the sentence would be, I am super disciplined with a strong work ethic in order to, and then he had the lake. So in order to have calmness and therav, stillness. So that
Hmm.
becomes your first purpose statement, which means that you need to have that strong work ethic and along with it also have this calmness and therav to really find meaning in whatever you are doing. If one or the other gets disturbed, you will start feeling unfulfilled in some form. So you need to kind of do both. So
Hmm.
you have to have hardworking, disciplined, and have a work ethic. Along with it, like the lake, have that calmness and Herav alongside. So very beautiful, a very balanced purpose statement. And
Hmm.
see that you try and do it in every project, and also you'll achieve not only success but fulfillment. And Priya, if you could share what you are making out of your sentence.
So it says here, I am authentic in order to give unconditional energy and light to all.
I am authentic in giving the sun, right? So giving
Yes.
light to all. Very beautiful. So again, like I said, this is the purpose statement which comes out of the 2 and 3. And the first one, which is the animal exercise, is basically your values.
Mm-hmm.
And value means your nature or your being. Being means that you can be there without doing it. So,
Mm.
maybe taking the example of, let's take, I'm just going up the chat. So, Akila, so you had the elephant. So, your values or natural state of being is powerful, strength, large, mother-like, and intelligent. So, what happens is that if, let's take in a project, you are feeling less powerful, you feel, no, I am not getting that powerful feeling here, you'll start feeling that something is wrong. I need to kind of get back to my base because I need to feel that that's your natural way of being. And in one place where people are not ready to figure out that mother like energy of yours, then also you'll start feeling strife. So you know uh, things which will resonate with more with you are those projects where you are able to maximize all your values, and that's how you use this. And then obviously a coach works with this, but this is what it means by this question. See how you relate to it. And the second, Priya, I'm not going to take this for you because we'll try
Yeah,
and
sure.
cover the PPT in time.
Yes,
The
yes.
second is with the hero statement and with the nature, we made that I am statement. The final is all these 4, 5 things is your natural gifts and talents. So your natural gifts and talents is basically the way of doing for you. So this is how you naturally do, and people are acknowledging. So like Ankush said, I have an ability to take risks, follow your heart, ability to speak my mind, speak to authority. So the more you do this, your doing will develop. And especially when things are stuck, look at your natural talents, because remember they come with ease, effortlessness. And as you do them more, you will feel that you are moving the energy of the whole group. So this is the doing part which gets channeled in coaching sessions. So the coach works both on doing and being, and that's what is the coaches ask, that don't just think about being, don't just think about doing. And what it means, some people think that, oh, I'm very satisfied in my being, but they're not taking action. And then there are some people who are just action oriented till they realize, but this is not me. I need to honor my values, my being. So the best is, and that's what really happens in coaching, the coach allows that awareness to come, that where it is stuck, where is the doing stuck, where is the being stuck. And the coach helps people to bring their uniqueness, their natural uniqueness in each agenda which they're in each session. And when that happens, they find that chord or that balance between a being and doing, and then rest anything has to be done, it just gets done. That's really what starts to happen in a coaching session.
Yeah, and this whole discovery of the being is so important because, like, who are you? In fact, the coach will prompt you to say that who are you being when you're doing this, when you're, in this situation. And then they say that, so this is different from your values, that awareness, making them aware of that and say, is this something that you want to be? And that
Thank you. And I
awareness,
see
yeah.
already some resonance. Ankush is writing interesting, something to reflect on. Absolutely reflect on it. Do it with your folks, some maybe family members. A
Yeah,
very easy thing to do even with children. But let me move on to we have covered all of this which
we've
is
covered
coming,
all.
but I just want to reiterate this is the definition. I just want to highlight the word partnering. The
Yeah.
coach is partnering, right? Priya said there is no person who's up or down, and then really helping people to maximizing their professional and personal life, so their potential. We also talked about this who's a trainer, what is the difference, the consultant, the therapist, and mentor. Coach again is the partner. So remember the next time somebody says coach, we in fact also started talking about a certified coach. Really somebody who's not telling, really asking, so they do that study and that's what brings to you. The bottom line is a true coach will always let you find the answer. They know that the best answer is in you, what you want, and then they create a safe space, which Priya also talked about through those active listening and powerful questioning as a
Mm-hmm.
concept. Okay, so this is where I would like to take a pause, put the PPT down, and just have this conversation with the audience in comments. What is the relevance after you have heard all of this today? What do you think is the relevance of these concepts to your team, your work, your personal space? And I would invite people to really put that in messages. What are you taking away?
What are you
Anything
taking
which
away?
you're resonating, and anything which you're resonating, any comments, concerns, oh no, this would work, this would not work. Would love to hear.
Like, how do you feel, Akila? For example, you said, I enjoyed the session. What specifically did you enjoy about the session? Apart from, of course, that Sunny and I are just adorable. But apart from that, what do you feel that you took away from this session?
And similar question to Ankush, what is it that like, what is it that you're taking away? And maybe some other attendees, which I see,
Yeah, yeah. The
Rajneesh,
pictures have come in a little slight.
Mohita,
Yeah.
Spritiman, Sarita, Preeti, Aisha, Thriza, Bharti, all of you, like, any one thing which you are taking away, any one learning, what would that, just put it in the chat box.
The awareness about myself that's different from what I assume is me was a light bulb moment. Thank you, Akila. How nice. And what is that awareness about yourself, Akila, if I may ask?
It's a difficult, platform to do this on chat. I'm sure when you pick up the phone, and that's what, like, coaching is one to one. We
Yeah.
talk about a lot of AI coming into coaching, but it has that momentarily lapse, or, the person is not there. But I see that, and feel free to share or not share, Akila, or maybe get on a phone call with Priya. maybe others as well, if you would like to share your takeaways.
A lot to reflect on: discipline that I always struggle with, and the calmness and I always admire how these would come together. Nice, very nice. Love it. I'm really happy with the way y'all have participated in this. This is so happy. It feels so good for us. And of course, you can reach out to us. I'd like to also put that in, Sunny, here. You can reach out to us. We are available on LinkedIn, and we are also, you can take my email address down. I'm writing my email address. Right. So you can reach Sunny or me through this ID, and we'd be happy to have conversations regarding coaching in for you or in your organizations. We'd be happy to bring BU coaching to all of you. If there's any conversations that you feel that you can connect us on, because this is our endeavor, we wanting to take coaching truly and make it integral to society, take it to as many organizations and people as possible. So feel free to connect us, reach out to us if there's something that you could do to help our endeavor.
I would also like to, add some of the people whom you don't see on screen today who are integral to BU. So Priya and me are two of our co-founders. We are five in all. We have Emmanuel David, we have Sarita Behel, and Preeti Billa Nair. So all five of us, through some means orchestrated by Priya, were able to tag along to this beautiful idea how to democratize coaching. And then we set our shop under BU and have delivered this work, which we all love, and trying to bring it to more people. So thank really also Akila, people at
I do.
Idobro, allowing us this platform to share what we love so passionately, and maybe reach out to more and more people. So, and along with the five of us, really also is a team of other coaches who help us when
Yes.
we get an assignment which has the need for more coaches. So we do all of that, bringing other people, like-minded people who are certified, who have that credential of being a coach, and allowing that people to deliver on their objective, and then obviously live their lives with their whole self,
Mm-hmm.
being you. So Priya, let me ask you this and turn the tables. What are you taking away from this session?
I'm taking away that, being in the moment is what is just amazing. We had hoped to start this whole, segment with the presentation, and we spoke spontaneously and like being present in the moment to what was calling out to us then. And isn't that beautiful? I think it worked out amazingly. Um, yeah, I'm loving this. We've done it in a different way earlier, but this was fabulous, I thought.
Yeah, thank you. I have this takeaway. I think, in fact, I love this a lot more because our
Yeah.
experience can shine, our voice can shine, and probably I am able to connect more to whoever is present.
Yes.
And yeah, why not, Akila? Please join. Um, and we have about 7 minutes left, so we're
Yes.
just talking about our last takeaways. So do
Yes. Yes.
join up on screen. And the idea is, this is one of the format I think we should use more often of allowing us to speak really our experience rather
Mm-hmm.
than a PPT. PPTs are always good, but this is better, I feel.
Yeah. 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 This was fabulous. We may just change our way of doing this in the future to be like this. Awesome. So we're
Akila,
waiting for
Satish,
Akila. So thank you for the participation, all the attendees who were there. Thank you for the active participation. This has really helped Sunny and me bring out not only what is important about coaching, but about what we do at BU coaching and about our partners who are working in the background as we speak, literally. Ankush, can we have Akila on the screen? And if it's not possible, I think we can conclude ourselves, Sunny. That's totally fine.
Ankush?
Okay, few seconds. There we are. Hi there, Akila.
Thank you. So, I think you both enjoyed the session as much as we did. It was
Yeah,
wonderful. This was a very small audience, but I think we could
yeah,
actually feel that from the heart, from whatever you expressed. I could
yeah.
see your journeys, how it opened up, how it panned in your life. And I think just listening to that was completely enriching an experience for us on the other end. And to see that, coaches go through the same kind of journey that you're going through or you have gone through, and they've cracked it, which means you also have something that you can do about your life, know your priorities, know your strengths. And so what I was typing in the chat about awareness and what you think you are is because generally your behaviors or your thoughts are shaped by what people around you keep telling about you. So you think this is you really, but it was completely shattering to know that it's all what you carry in your head about what people are telling about you and not really what you want to tell about yourself. So that
Mm,
inner voice that Sunny said, I think I could resonate to that very well. In terms of life or work, I think there are those milestones when you hit and you think, what next? And for you, it was 50 in terms of age, Priya. So for
yes.
different people, it could be different things. Whether you're a mid-level manager, I think that's when the crisis really starts. People talk about the quintessential crisis, either in life or in work, in their 40s, and possibly there is greater clarity in 50s. So, but any which way, all these start impacting us. And for us to get to our fullest and reach our potential, true potential, I think we need to do a little work. It's not that it comes on its own. And I think that's where the coaches definitely play a role. And that's why it's evolving, as a career and also in terms of aspiration to help other people.